This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the iRacing Esports Network. We are SimSpeed TV, and this is the West End Mazda Australian Online Supercar Championship, round number 5 for season number 6. Tonight we're coming to you from Snetterton in the UK, running the 200 layout, a layout that should offer some very, very tight, close, and interesting racing. A lot of drafting available at this circuit. My name is Jay Kennedy. Alongside me in the booth, as always on a Friday night, Fonty, Scott Fountain. Fonty, it's going to be a really awesome night of racing. We've seen Snetterton in the past. Hasn't been used a great deal in V8 supercar racing, but when we've seen it, it has always provided action-packed racing.
Yes, you're certainly right, Jay. Welcome everybody to another Friday night of supercar racing here on the West End Mazda Australian Online Supercar Championship. Round 5, Snetterton. I do love this track, as you were saying, Jay. Haven't really used it too much in the supercar. But the times that we have, it's certainly turned it on and been great racing. Reasonably new track to the iRacing service, only been around for a couple of years. And yeah, great format that we have here tonight, 2 18-lap races. So yeah, certainly gives the drivers who make mistakes in the first one a chance to redeem themselves in the second one.
Yep, so it'll be a roll, or if I could actually speak, a progressive grid. So where you finish in the first race will be where you start in the second race, but you do have to make a pit stop in one of the 2 races. So usually means that we will see a mixed up grid and 2 different winners over the 2 races. So always provides a really interesting format. Race conditions look really, really good. It's a little bit windy out there, but the track is nice and cool. So we should see some pretty intense racing. Tyre wear should not be too much of an issue for the drivers. They're out there in qualifying at the moment, is just getting underway. And as it is right now, Dane Warren is at the top of the field. Andrew Gilliam, who we saw on Monday night in the official V8 Supercar Series, incredible pace he's found at the moment. He's just dropped back to 3rd, but he was in 2nd for a moment. Cooper Webster's just pipped him into 2nd position. But Andrew Gilliam, we have to say, he's done a fantastic job in the last 3 or 4 weeks. He's just moved his way through the field.
Yeah, well, we have seen his name for sort of the last 12 months. I think I've seen his name, and yeah, slowly getting that little bit further up there, and then it's obviously just clicked for him. He's feeling the K, he's feeling good, and yeah, he's running all right at this stage. So still do have plenty of time left in this qualifying session, but expect him to still at least be in the top 10. A couple of drivers a bit further down that I think would make their way up there, but yeah, good to see some new names getting up the pointy end of the field. We've also got Jack Boyd. He's sitting in P4 at the moment. He came on my radar about 3 weeks ago, and yeah, been doing a fantastic job. So I expect to see these guys really at the front of the field over, well, this year and into the future.
We'll try and grab a couple of onboard laps so you can get acclimatised to the circuit, because it is a really interesting track. The layout we're using is extremely fast. Gilliam crosses the line. He's about a 2nd off his best lap. We'll find someone about to start a flying lap. We might actually go to one of the newest looking cars out there, Altus Esports, now in the V8 Supercar. I must say, I said earlier that we had the livery of the season with the KRF liveries, but I'm going to have to change my mind, because that looks absolutely spectacular from Altus Esports.
Yes, well, you're exactly right, Jay. Altus do a fantastic job. Simon Feigl over there, he is really a class act when it comes to what he's trying to achieve, and you know, the way that they promote themselves. And we've had dealings with Simon ourselves, haven't we, Jay? We obviously did the VSR showdown at Sydney Motorsport Park, and then again at PAX, which yeah, Simon's a great guy, great for the community, and yeah, does a fantastic job as team manager for his team.
Yep, and so we just saw Dane Warren bought his lap. Wasn't improving. Go to Michael Cracknell. So seeing a lot of drivers We've been talking in the last few weeks, drivers moving teams. I don't think we've ever seen so much movement in the AusNZ sim racing community for team changes as we've seen this year.
No, you're exactly right, Jay. It was the silly season of sim racing, wasn't it? We saw movements everywhere, and movements that I fell off my chair about, to be honest. Yeah, I think it's going to be good for teams to expand, teams to grow, and teams that are already strong are getting stronger. So yeah, it's going to be a fantastic year, and I look forward to seeing who comes out in this championship and the Monday official and V8 Scops as well. That kicks off in a couple of weeks, and it's going to be a very, very exciting year for that. But getting back to the racing here, Jack Boyd's first 5 cars goes Dane Warren, Cooper Webster, Andrew Gillum, Jack Boyd and Jordan Ross. Jackson Susan Harlow has some pace as well. He's sitting in P number 7. Harley Haber, however, Jay, he's a little bit further back than what I would expect. Currently sitting in P13. He may not be able to quite get up there in qualifying, but expect him to be there or thereabouts in the race, and certainly with the format that we've got tonight, well, it is going to mix it up, and really anyone's got a shot at winning the round, don't they?
Exactly. If you play the strategy game right, you could find yourself at the front of the field for one of the 2 races. Interesting, if you take down Dane Warren's time out, every other time from there is extremely close. The biggest gap, other than the gap from first to second, is between Mullen McMullen and the man on screen at the moment, Michael Cracknell. Cracknell, another driver that we've seen move teams in the off-season. Was previously with Evolution Racing Team, did a little bit of driving privateer for a while, and now at KRF Motorsports. He's going to be a very, very good teammate to Brett Loxton throughout the endurance campaigns and also V8 Scops as well, as we just see Cracknell improve on his best time, but it doesn't improve his position because Harley Haber, Brady Myers, all have jumped positions on their flying laps just then as well.
Whoa,
just
big
ahead.
Moment there for a car in front. I think that was Haber. So yes, no, you're exactly right. I think that those 2 guys will, definitely be a force to be reckoned with during the endurance campaign, not only for this championship, for V8 Scops as well, and for Brett Loxton, he's no slouch. He won this championship in the individual drivers championship last season, and I'm sure that those guys are going to do great things together. This man on screen though, Marlon McMullen, he certainly has some pace. We have seen him win championships before, and recently teamed up with CMR. I do like that livery on that car.
Well, one thing I was just thinking then, out of the top 11 at the moment, 9 of them have changed teams since this time last year. There's only 2 drivers that are still in the same team that they were at this time last year, that being Brett Loxton. Actually, it's only Brett Loxton. Everyone else has moved teams. The Dane Warren moving from All-Star Motorsports to Altus, Cooper Webster from Performance Sim Sports to Evolution Racing Team. Andrew Gilliam was also has moved to Pursuit Sim Racing. Jack Boyd's very new on the iRacing scene. Jordan Ross in the last 2 weeks has also joined up with Evolution Racing Team. Brett Loxton's still at KRF Zuva. Jackson Susan Harlow has moved across to TTL Esports. Brady Myers also to TTL from Progression Racing Australia. Harley Haber also moved to Redback Racing Team. Marlon McMullen was a privateer, and also before that was at Performance Sim Sports. Michael Cracknell, as we said before, ERT now to KRF as McMullen crosses the line with no improvement. The times are so incredibly close, but I don't think I've ever seen such a mixed up group of drivers. Looking through that entire list, there's only what, 2 drivers in the entire list on screen there in that top 18 that are in the same team as they were 12 months ago.
I know, that's absolutely fantastic. Good to see it all mixing up, and teams really growing. I tell you what, this car that's on screen now and that team, Pursuit Sim Racing, have really come a long way in recent times, and we see that their endurance campaign is generally pretty strong. But yeah, I'm quite surprised at Andrew's pace, but yeah, great to see him right up there. This man on screen though, Cooper Webster, he is no slouch. I reckon we're going to see Cooper really win championships someday soon, Jay.
Yeah, I agree. I think we will see Cooper Webster push forward. He's one of the new young guns that are up and coming and will jump in and push his way forward. We've got a lot of young drivers out in the field that we're going to see really as that next level of driver with the likes of Webster, not only Webster though, but Boyd, Brady Myers, Jackson Susan Harlow, Harley Haber, all of those guys are all going to move up as we just see Cooper Webster improve his time and jumps, well, stays in second position, but he cuts that gap down.
Gets a bit closer though. You're exactly right, Jay. Yeah, there are some names in this field that has, certainly come a long way, and I can just see it, a couple of them there that expect Jared Philsell to have his championship taken off him at some stage, because the likes of Harley Haber, the likes of Jackson Susan Harlow, Jack Boyd, Andrew Gillum, Brady Myers, and of course Cooper Webster as well. So those guys are really the new ones that are coming through, and I think it's absolutely fantastic to see. So expect these young guys to really take it to, the veterans of sim racing very, very soon.
Jordan Ross, I thought, was on an out lap, but he's just about to start a flying lap, so I'll stay with him. He's a driver that we may see start to move forward in these races. We saw in V8 Scops, we just saw a CMR car go straight ahead at turn 1. We saw in V8 Scops, Jordan Ross and his former teammate Glenn Postlethwaite had some incredible pace when we raced the 200 layout of Snetterton. So we'll be interested to see if Jordan can find a bit of pace here as well. It's a really, really tough track to extract pace from because there's so many different points, really, really long, fast straights. Then you've got incredibly tight corners with big, huge curves, as we just saw there, coming through the chicane at the back straight, coming through Bomb Hole now. Really, really dips down in the circuit, off camber. It's such a unique circuit, this one, but one that provides some really, really entertaining racing.
Yeah, you're exactly right. One track that I certainly would love to go on at some point and drive around. I will be back in the UK as of next Sunday, so maybe I might have to take a trip there at some point.
Jordan Ross doesn't improve on his next flying lap, so we won't see an improvement in time there, as Jack Boyd is having a bit of technical issue as he crosses the line. It doesn't look like that lap time has registered for him, but we'll stay with him and see how he goes on this lap, as he's really wide and off in the grass, and that will not mean that he will improve on this lap. Brady Myers, though, coming up to complete his lap. We'll see what he can do. Current best is a 1:08.3 in 5th position, but he's only 3/10 off pole. He only has to find a 10th and he'll gain 3 spots.
Yeah, there we go. That's all
he does.
To do, Jay. There we go.
Up to 3rd.
He's up to 3rd. So Brady Myers has pulled it out of the bag. Simworks on the side of these TTL esports entries. It is quite strange for me to see that. For years we've had the Hyper Simulator on the side of their cars, but Simworks jumping on board with them now. David Sanford on screen.
His first race out there since the demise of All Star Motorsports, so now running as a privateer. Sneaky little hire me written on the car, so he's looking for a new drive. Be a very, very good pickup for a team out there. It's a big sideways moment coming through Bomb Hole. He decides to just put it in the fence and go back to the pits and have another crack. Kyle Stokes, another one of those drivers we said, yes, shuffled teams. He's on to his 3rd team in 12 months. So of course, picked up the up-and-coming driver award in V8 Scops last year. Definitely one to watch. Yeah,
you're exactly right. He's looking for the best deal, isn't he? Moving teams. Certainly Evolution Racing team this year are very, very strong. So expect them to be right there and challenging for teams championships and whatnot. I think that Brenton O'Brien needs to give some of the sim drivers back to the community, though. But
they've recruited well. They've recruited well in this season. They've caught a lot of people off guard with who they've recruited in picking up Jordan Ross and Jared Philsell. They're going to be really. Yeah, I was too. Going to be a really interesting few months. Yeah, well, interesting combinations, and see what they come up with Enduro mode going forward. So we watch Brady Myers. We'll see if he can improve on this run. So last time out he improved by a 10th. If he finds another 10th, he'll jump a spot. Cooper Webster has improved, and he's gained another 0.03 of a second to boost that gap out to 36 thousandths between he and Brady Myers. So we'll see if Brady can find a little bit more.
Yes, we certainly will. Another battle, well, that always happens. These two guys are pretty inseparable when it comes to V8 racing, and that's Jackson Susan Harlow, Harley Haber. Those guys are 8th and 9th together, so they always manage to rub doors, but rub doors cleanly and have great racing. Hey,
Most of the time, cleanly.
Most of the time cleanly. I'll tell you what though, Harley has improved massively over, the past few months. He was very aggressive. He was very fast, very aggressive, but generally found himself getting tangled up in, incidents and whatnot. But since he's jumped on board with Redback Racing Team and Mark Samuel over there, he's been working hard with Harley and done an absolutely fantastic job, and it's really, really starting to show. So no improvement for Brady Myers on that one. We now follow Cooper Webster. I do like the gold wheels on the Logitech Commodore.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's quite striking. Really matches with the blue and the black on that car. It's sort of, whoa! That's what we were talking about earlier with the curbs though. So that's the end of that lap. Jordan Ross running the traditional black wheels. He's a new Falcon. He ran a Commodore for the first time. I'd never seen Jordan Ross run a Commodore, but we saw him run one last week, and he will abort his lap. There's not much time left in this session. Brett Loxton coming out. He might not have enough time to get another flying lap in. Jackson Susan Harlow is done. Marlon McMullen, though, is about to finish a flying lap. See if he improves. He does. Good lap.
Ooh, yeah, not a bad lap. Always, what's he gone to? P7, so Marlon's got to be happy with that.
See what Cracknell does on his final attempt. Only 30 seconds on the clock. Not long left in this qualifying session.
Hey, I'll tell you one name though who we didn't see early on in the session. That was the man in P11, Jamie McKnight, West End Mazda. He is the sponsor of the series and supports sim racing massively. Not only the series, V8 Scots, and yeah, big support of us as well. And not a bad peddler is Jamie.
Oh, almost contact into the rear of Gavin Cox's car, and he's decided to abort his lap. Checkered flag is out in qualifying, so the session is officially done. Michael Cracknell will be the last driver to complete a flying lap. Brady Myers did not get across the line in time, neither did Jack Boyd. Cooper Webster did. So Webster will get another run. Cracknell will get another run. James Duckworth also on a flying lap. Cracknell is done though. He's pulled over already, so he is out of this session. See what James Duckworth can do. Another driver who races sim and real racing, so a bit of real life experience definitely helps as he cuts the corner so aggressively. Be lucky to keep this lap validated because he's taking way too much grass there. I think he's aborting this lap.
He's pressing on though, yep.
Oh, he's still going.
No, he's still going.
Crosses the line with an improvement by a couple of thousandths and does gain a spot. Let's see what Webster can do. Will he improve? Will he get it to pole?
Oh.
Crosses the line with an improvement, but not quite enough. That's a good lap.
Oh. Very, very good lap. I'll tell you what, Dane Warren's got something coming for him. Brady Myers hasn't been able to take the position off Cooper Webster. I'll tell you what though, Andrew Gillum, what a fantastic qualifying session he has had.
Definitely a great job from him. He will start from 4th position, but the rest of the grid is as follows. Its qualifying is done. Dane Warren and Cooper Webster on the front row from Brady Myers and Andrew Gillum. We've got Jack Boyd and Jordan Ross on the 3rd row. 4th row for Marlon McMullen and Brett Loxton. 5th row, Jackson Susan Harlow and Harley Haber.
Then we go back to Jamie McKnight in P11, James Scott 12, Michael Cracknell 13, James Duckworth 14, Kyle Stokes in 15th, Michael Taliansich in 16th. 17th, James Mackey, Jacob Knight in 18th, David Stanford 19th, Stephen Varga in 20.
Yep, then we go to 21st, Damien Johnson with Mitchell Campbell alongside him, Greg Sharp and Matt Morris on the next row, row 12. Row 13, Sam Spade and Mark Newton with Jamie Stovald and Benjamin Smith on the 14th row. On the 15th row is Kane Hewson and Mitchell Bales.
And then we go to Guy Leach, Gary Cooper in 32nd, Luke Page and Matthew Dare 33rd, 34th, Warren Pickering and Matthew Glute in 35th, 36th. Gavin Cox, 37th. Peter Sattler in 38th. Matt Leopardhaven in 39th. Joel Kenton in 40.
And then the last couple of qualifiers, Scott Gamble and Troy DeBono, Scott Clark, Jaden Boyd, Tony Gaffer, Zach Best, Grant Caines, Trent Gossley, and then the 25th row on the grid, Danny Vassell and Angus Perry. We are
Full
just about
grid.
ready to go. 50-car grid is going to be an awesome night of racing. Strap yourself in. It is going to be an impressive night. There's going to be action. There's going to be chaos. There's going to be mayhem. Who will take out the victories tonight? We are about to find out as the revs get ready to rise. Here on the iRacing Esports Network, we're SimSpeed TV. 2 sprint races tonight, back-to-back, 60 kilometers in length. Race time should be about 21 minutes each. It's going to be extremely fast racing. As the last car takes to the grid, we are ready to get underway. A little bit of movement there from Cooper Webster. Hopefully he hasn't got a penalty there, but we are underway. 18 laps of racing and a really, really good jump from Dane Warren at the front of the field.
Yeah, fantastic start there from Dane. Everyone looking like they're getting into turn 1 reasonably cleanly. Can the back of the field, though, make it through? All right, that is the next question. Oh, a few cars running wide there. But no,
3 wide back there. With, McMullen, Haber and Jordan Ross. It looks like we're going to make it through fairly unscathed in that section.
Yeah, it was a big check up there into turn number 2. Oh, we've got one of the Fusion Sim Racing cars by the looks of it.
It's on for the lead.
Here we go.
Dane Warren having to defend coming into the chicane from Cooper Webster. Cooper Webster looking very, very strong. We said he had great paces. He's all sorts of crossed up.
Oh.
Just in the background, side by side. And as you said earlier, Harley Haber, Jackson Suzlin Harlow always find themselves together. We've got James Mackey around in the background as well. He's facing the wrong direction at the chicane. Go back to the front though, because Dane Warren starting to shake Cooper Webster. And have a look at Brady Myers coming here.
Here we go. Brady Myers is coming. He is fast and he wants to make this move. So these guys don't want to battle too hard because otherwise they're going to let Dane Warren walk off into the distance. Andrew Gillum, though, hanging on the back there, doing a fantastic job. Not quite the pace of those front 3, but he is pulling a gap from P5. Oh, there we go. Brady Myers looking very racy, and so is Harley Haber as well.
And Brett Loxton's been shuffled behind Haber and Suzlin Harlow, so he's lost a couple of spots. The rest of the field almost all where they started, but have a look at the draft and the advantage that Cooper Webster's getting down the straight, up the inside, move done!
Oh, a little bit of a rub on the way through. Oh, and a little bit of a shunt.
Move done, Cooper Webster takes the lead of this race. Great move.
Dane didn't look too happy about that though, because he gave him a bit of a rub on the way through, and next corner, that front of the Ford Falcon, give him a little bit of a hit, but all clean, fun racing. What a fantastic start there by the Evolution Racing Team driver, and he looks to be getting a gap already, but with these long straights, that gap is going to be closed up very, very quickly.
McMullen in the pit, so he's one of the first of these front runners to come in the pits, get this pit stop done in the first race. Not a bad move. If you don't see yourself moving forward, you might as well come in and make these pit stops now. Must take 2 tyres in one of these 2 races. Have a look at Brady Myers under brakes, how much he closed up.
Yeah, I didn't expect him to pull it up there. He was very, very late, and those cars behind are slowly closing up. So Harley has pulled a gap from Jackson by the looks of it. Big, long straight here as we come under the bridge into a big, long left-hander. Cars bouncing around in through the right. I absolutely love the shot backwards. You really see how the cars are working. Andrew Gwillem is doing a fantastic job at holding on the back, and he looks like he's actually catching.
Yeah, he is. I think these 3 at the front are starting to fight a little bit too hard. See if they can start to sort themselves out, because they are starting to draw Gilliam and also Jack Boyd up to them. This is the closest fight on track is for the lead of the race. All the other gaps are a little bit more stretched out than this lead battle, as you just see James Duckworth come into the pits as well. This is very, very tight for first and second. Just on a 1/10 of a second. Dane Warren not quite able to find a way past yet.
No, Dane is not able to get past, but yeah, what do? Do you just chuck it in the pit lane and get it out of the way and then try and charge yourself through?
I think with this circuit, I don't think if you're in the top 5 or 6, it's the right move. But here comes Warren back up the inside.
Here we go.
Is he going to pull it up?
Yep, he certainly is, but this is bringing Brady Myers into the mix, as well as Andrew Gwilym, all looking like a technical drama there for Gwilym. Harley Haber charging down those cars in front.
Yeah, Jackson Sutherland Harlow's been shuffled back and he's now under pressure from James Scott. So we've got battles going the whole way through the field. We've got around about 17 or 18 cars that have jumped into the pitch. Guy Leach, look at the damage on the back of his car. He's very, very slow. And I'm going to say that he and Zach Best may have come together, as well as David Sanford. All the 3 of those cars look very, very second-hand. Go back to the front, because will we see another move back? We've already seen 2 passing moves down the back straight here. Interesting, we're only on lap 5. We've only completed 4 laps, starting the 5th. We've got traffic already.
Yeah, here we go. It is a very, very quick lap, and when these front guys are using the draft of each other, it makes it even faster. So you expect traffic to definitely play a big part in this event.
Oh, Andrew Gillen, massive moment for him coming through the chicane.
Away with it, but he's going to be under pressure very, very soon. Jack Boyd is hunting him down and doing a fantastic job at it.
Kyle Stokes, I'm just going to go back a little bit, sorry Fonty, because Kyle
right,
Stokes is under pressure from Jackson Sutherland Harlow, and James Scott is still there too. Don't be surprised to see Sutherland Harlow throw it up the inside here. There's a little bit of a bump.
Little bit of a tap on the way through, and that's going to leave the Simworks car potentially susceptible. Here we go, in the pit lane. In the pit lane for Stokes. He's going to get that pit stop out of the way, finished and done. Another Pursuit Sim Racing car, Michael Taliancic, Mitchell Campbell. These guys going at it. Mitchell looking up the inside, but the side's better of it. Tucks back in line.
Thought he was going to throw it up the inside, but just saw Taliancic's name drop down the timing sheet, so he's had some sort of issue on the previous lap. Looks like he's got himself sorted back out once again, and we're also just seeing side by side here, Troy De Bono in the fence!
Oh, here we go. That was not ideal.
That was a heavy hit.
That was a heavy hit, yeah. The rear end just did give way. Oh, and this is hard for these drivers behind, battling Grant Kane's Redback Racing Team car, currently sitting in P25, and this is going to leave Grant open to the 411 car. Tony Gaffer is coming, and he's going to be on the outside.
And also just behind there too is Marlon McMullen making his way through. Side by side through, he doesn't work, boys! Oh, they've somehow made it work. So they're going to go back to the front of the field, because Dane Warren has made a move on the front straight on Cooper Webster. That's completely caught me off guard, because when I last looked, they were 0.4 of a second apart. And Dane Warren has made a move to get back through on the front straight.
Here we go. So Dane Warren leading this race. This front 3 battle is absolutely fantastic. And I tell you what, Brady Myers is just sitting there thinking to himself, well, you boys just keep battling. I'm just going to save my tyres and then pop you in the last couple of laps.
We just saw Taliancic and Campbell also just had a little bit of a moment also around there. Gavin Cox, we saw he was just ahead of the leaders not that long ago. So Dane Warren back in the lead. We've already seen 4 lead changes in this race. We're only 6.5 laps in.
I tell you what, Dane is pushing it hard. Saw that left rear drop off there, and he really struggled to hold on to it. And they are catching more and more lap traffic.
They are starting to pull a gap on Andrew Gillen in 4th position, Jack Boyd in 5th. They're starting to stretch away, but Jordan Ross also looking quite strong. He's starting to close back up to the rear of Jack Boyd. So will we see him be able to get a move done? Potentially he could here, as we're seeing lap traffic come out of the pits.
Yeah, so Jack must have made a bit of a mistake, because that gap that he had on Andrew was closing right up, and now you see it, pretty big. We look now at this battle for Greg Sharp.
Matt Morris, Greg Sharp, Gary Cooper all together. Mitchell Bales not too far away as well. Greg running the lightweight version of the Commodore, running the Holden Cruise tonight. It's not the fastest way around a track that you do need a little bit of downforce.
Yep, you're exactly right. running the Holden Cruise tonight, and still managing to hold on to it, although he doesn't have any rear end downforce. Just looking at that top ticker go by. Jamie McKnight sitting in P9, so he's moved up from his original P11 starting position. Stephen Varga, he's moved up quite a bit because he was sitting in P20. 7 spots for Stephen. Harley Haber and Brett Loxton still going at it. Harley running the pink livery.
Yep, serving that. Cooper Webster actually in the pits. Interesting.
There we go. Very interesting.
I'm very surprised by that.
Yes, so am I. I guess mix it up maybe, potentially, you know, with the other guys having to make another stop. I don't know what his thoughts were there. Maybe
the traffic is playing an impact. He's going to come out, rejoin in about 19th position. He should come out just ahead of David Sanford. But out of all of the other cars that pitted, Marlon McMullen is the next place car, and he's only just come across the start line now, so it's about 7-second gap to the next place car. So what he's doing now is setting himself up for the second race, because he knows that everyone ahead of him will have to pit in either at the end, before the end of this race, or in the second race. It opens him up to all sorts of possibilities going forward in the next race. It's Mark Newton side by side with Stephen Varga. As you said, Varga's moved his way up. Oh, big slide there for Newton.
Oh, give him a little bit of a shunt to boot on the way through, why don't you? He's, yeah, you're exactly right, Jay. I absolutely love this format. It really mixes it up, and you just don't know who's going to win that second race, because, you know, these guys still need to make a pit stop, and Marlon certainly is in a great position to do so. Now we see Jordan Ross in the pit lane. Will we see everybody else start responding to the Evolution Racing car team that came in before?
I think we might start to see a few drivers go, well, yeah, maybe pitting in this race is the right way to go. Get it out of the way. We might find ourselves with only 5 or 6 cars left that haven't pitted. Guys that, you know, might be finding themselves stuck behind another car and can't quite get past. They're the ones that are likely to make these moves. You just see another car cutting across the chicane. I think that's Matthew Clote. No, yes, it is Matthew Clote, as he just comes and is being passed by Brett Loxton and Harley Haber. These guys have actually stretched out their gap a little bit. It was a lot closer not that long ago. As we go back to Cooper Webster, see if he can make his way forward. Matt Lepoitovan, side by side with him at the moment. This is dangerous through bomb hole, and he gets through. Good move from Webster. His next target is Kane Hewson, as we're only 7 laps to go, 7 and a bit laps to go.
Yeah, very, very quick race is this one. And yeah, Cooper's doing a fantastic job. I'm interested to see where he can make his way up to.
Gap at the front of the field has stretched out now, so since we saw Cooper Webster jump in the pits, the gap between Dane Warren and Brady Myers has stretched out now, 1.2 seconds. At the same gap back to Andrew Gilliam and Jack Boyd as well. Loxton and Haber is the closest battle inside the top 10, but just outside the top 10, 11th, 12th and 13th is getting quite tight between Jamie Stovald, Mark Newton and Stephen Varga. We just saw before Newton and Varga going at it, but they're both closing in on Jamie Stovald ahead.
Yes, they certainly are. They're closing right in, and it'll be dangerous for them.
Varga probably looks the most likely to get a move done. He's looking really, really strong at the moment. We'll see if he can get the move done. Close enough up behind the car of Newton, who try and force a mistake and get the run, but not quite able to. A little bit sideways on that sawtooth curb on the outside, and we've seen Newton jump into the pits. He didn't want to be a part of that battle anymore. Decided he might as well jump in the pits. Amazing how this field is spread out into such strange little battle packs, isn't it? That's such a short circuit that there's not a large amount of gap or not a large amount of room between drivers anyway. But to see how close this is incredible to see how close the battles can be in this circuit. I love this track. It's such a cool track for racing.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Jay. It is an absolutely fantastic track. It was last year V8 Scops that I first experienced this track for V8 Supercars, and the racing, was amazing, and we're seeing that here today. The battles are fantastic, and the second race, I tell you what, pressure's going to be on these guys.
100%. We're going to see a lot of pressure in that second race when it comes about. As we see just coming past now, here's Smith and Johnson, and closing up behind as well as Mitchell Campbell. We've seen he had some good pace earlier on in the race, so see if he can close onto the back of this battle. We're seeing in the lane Brett Loxton and Harley Haber come in. That's interesting that both of those guys have come into the pits together.
Yep, very interesting. Not a bad play though. If you're battling with someone on track, and generally, you can keep them in front of you. So it'll be interesting to see how they go.
We're on board here with Jamie Stovall. See Stephen Varga tucked right in under that rear wing. A little bit of a better run there from Stovall, but that's probably the one corner on the track where drivers are trying to get as good a run as they can down the straight. Get a little bit too happy with that right foot. See wheel spin. That's why we're seeing a lot of moves into the chicane here. It's not necessarily that drivers have the draft. It's that they're just over driving the car coming out of that really, really tight complex leading onto the long straight.
Yeah, well, these cars are very difficult to drive. You get a lot of guys who race the GT and other series in iRacing, and they can't even get through turn one. I know you struggle with that, Jay.
I struggle with that in any car.
Well, I think you struggle with getting out of pit lane, don't you, mate? I can't say much. But let's get back to the racing now. Focus
Sledging
on
didn't take long to start, did it?
No, it didn't. Hey, it's Friday night, Jay. We've got to throw these things out there. It wouldn't be Friday Night Supercars without Jay and Fonty throwing things at each other.
You're right. You are right. That's the sad bit. You are exactly right. So we were just seeing Cooper Webster. He's made his way into the top 10. Amazing to see that he's got himself into the 10. So Cooper Webster, Jordan Ross,
not bad.
Brett Loxton, Harley Haber, Marlon McMullen, all in the top 15 and have all made their stop. The
Jamie McKnight up to P number 5. What
yeah,
a fantastic
be happy
drive
about that.
from Wooly Ever. And I tell you what, he will not have a single incident point. I think Jamie would have to have the best run at not throwing off the track, not crashing into anybody, because he is probably one of the best in the community at it. So we're just seeing him cross the line there. Go back to this battle here. Stephen Varga, Jamie Stovall. Varga really moved his way through in this race. Obviously it helps having the other cars going into the pit lane to do their stop, but yeah, still a good drive from Stephen.
Take these positions when you get them. Doesn't matter how you get them, as long as you get a good position, you'll take it every time. But both of these guys, very, very solid drivers. We don't see them up as high as they would like to be, but it's great to see them having a good run out there tonight at this current point. We'll see if Varga can get a run here just behind Danny Vassell, who's unfortunately a lap down at the moment. Not able to get through. We're just going to go back in the pack a little bit, because have a look at this. Cracknell, Scott and Stokes have all come together.
Oh, here we go.
2.5 laps, 3.5 laps of racing to go. This is going to be an interesting finish. Have a look at the bump drafting between teammates.
That is the best that you will see right there. That's a worry for the team manager though, watching. Oh, hey, well, that Zuva car does not look like it's handling those corners too well. The rear tyres look to be pretty hit it.
Have a look at this on board with Kyle Stokes. You'll see James Scott move across and slingshot engaged. Talladega Night style. Boom, bump draft. Here we go.
There we go. Cool. That's what you do to help your teammates out, isn't it?
The only issue is Kyle Stokes hasn't got anyone to help him out now.
Well, that's how it works sometimes, Jay. But looking at that, look, lap 16 of 18. We are in the dying stages of this race. Seen a few little incidents here and there, and some surprise people up the pointy end of the field.
Surprise! Have a look at this. Dane Warren's in trouble here.
I can see that. Dane Warren is in massive trouble. He is under huge pressure here from Brady Myers. Looks like that Ford Falcon is not handling as well as he would like.
May have burnt out the tyres too early.
Yeah, I think so. We just saw a few moments ago, Brett Loxton really struggling with rear end grip.
Speaking of, Brett Loxton, he's just got past Jordan Ross. Those two are battling hard. Jacob Knight has decided to make a very, very late pit stop as well. He's come in. Of course, they have to pit for 2 tyres. Most will take 4 when they do their stop, but must take at least 2 tyres. Doesn't take any longer to take 2 or 4 in most cases. But, this isn't over at the front because have a look at all of this lap traffic ahead of Dane Warren.
This is dangerous for Dane Warren. This could open up this race win very, very quickly, and these guys won't make it easy. Dane will be hoping that they get out of his way. Brady will be hoping that he can get the slingshot done.
Just have a look at this, back in the field still. Cracknell, Scott, Jacob Knight, and also now joined by, James Scott and joined by Jacob Knight. So these guys are still going at it side by side. But Cracknell has got back ahead of James Scott. We go back to the front because here, this is, dangerous, Zach.
That is dangerous, all right.
Zach Best sideways.
That is massively dangerous. And this could leave the gap open, but Brady hasn't managed to get the power down. So this may be a free run here for Dane. He's going to get the move done. He's going to go to the outside. Oh, this could be dangerous. Brady's going to get through. Got another car off there. Is that Loxton?
No, that was Guy Leach, I think, that had run off the circuit.
Yes.
Luke Page is the car that is being hounded by Dane Warren. He's trying to get through. He wants to get a move done. He might even give him a little push here, saying, hey, mate, watch out. I'm the leader.
Watch out, all right. And he's going to block. Is he trying to help Brady Myers? This
could get dangerous. Brady Myers with the run coming up to the finish line. I think Dane Warren could hold on. Checkered flag is out.
Wow.
Dane Warren crosses the line. Wow, what a result.
Yes,
Side by side here, though.
to
Stephen
work.
Varga,
Here we
Cooper
go.
Webster. Webster going to force Stephen Varga to the outside. Varga's going to have to give up that position. So
Could
Cooper
he get the
Webster.
run? Here we go. He's got a bad run out. He's going to get it back. Coming onto the front straight. So this is going to give that position to Stephen Varga. Oh, technical issues for Varga as he's crossing the line. Wow, what a battle. Kane Houston finishing in 10th.
Still fights going on in the field the whole way through.
Here we go.
Sanford
Oh.
and Duckworth side by side across the line. Not quite close enough. Kyle Stokes, Jacob Knight, bump drafting across the line. Of course, former teammates and very, very good mates, those two. Matt Lapoitov and Matthew Deere still going at it as well.
Yeah, at least you can say Matt's name right, because I still can't get it right.
You're right, you can't. That's all right. It's only taken me 7 months to get Matt's day right. He does hold on for 31st position.
I can't even say my own name right, so
No
there
comment.
we go. Here we go.
Yeah.
What a fantastic race we
What
had.
a night of
I
racing.
tell you what, Dane Warren was made to work for that race win, and yeah, he was given that lap car a little bit of a shunt on the way through. Brady Myers nearly caught him back. He finished in 2nd position. I tell you what though, this is the man who deserves to have a big shout out. Andrew Gillum, P number 3. Fantastic drive from qualifying through to the race, kept himself out of trouble, and I think that would definitely be his first podium in a field like this. Jack Boyd, another new guy to the iRacing scene. He will finish in 4th. Well done to Jamie McKnight, P number 5. I bet you if you asked Jamie if he would finish in 5th in that race, although there were other people came and pitted, Jamie would have not have said yes. Michael Taliansich in 6th. Stephen Varga, that was a fantastic battle between himself and Cooper Webster coming over the line there, and Cooper will finish in 8th.
Yep, then the next page we've got Jamie Stovald and Kane Hewson, both for New Zealand Sim Racing in 9th and 10th. Then we got Brett Loxton in 11th, Jordan Ross in 12th position, Harley Haber in 13th, Marlon McMullen 14th, David Sanford in 15th. James Duckworth rounds out the top 16. They are a very, very good finish. David Sanford does need to pit in the next race, though, so it's going to be a tough effort from him in 15th in this one. We'll have a very, very tough show in the next race.
Yep, you're exactly right. Then we roll through to 17th, Michael Cracknell, James Scott, P18, Kyle Stokes, we focused on him a little bit, he will finish in 19th. Jacob Knight in 20th. Jackson Susan Harlow, a little bit back than I would have expected, but he got shuffled back at the start there, so expect him to come through in the next race. Grant Keynes in 22nd. Benjamin Smith 23rd, and Mitchell Campbell in 24th.
25th goes to Tony Gaffer with Damien Johnson in 26th position, Mark Newton in 27th, Sam Spade in 28th, Mitchell Bales and Jaden Borg round out the top 30 with Matt Lapoitovan and Matthew Deere rounding out the top 32.
And then we go to 33rd, Guy Leach, a race from Hal for Guy. We saw him tangled up there a few times and threw it off. Greg Sharp in 34th, Luke Page 35th, Zach Best, he moved up, he's in 36th, James Mackey 37th, Scott Clark 38th, Matt Morris 39th, and Gary Cooper in 40th.
This is the list of drivers all a lap down or more. Matthew Clote, Danny Vassell, Gavin Cox and Angus Perry all 1 lap down, with Joel Kenton 3 laps down, Warren Pickering 10 laps down, Scott Gamble, Troy DeBono as well. We saw Troy in the fence. He finished 10 laps down as well, with Peter Sattler and Trent Gosling all finishing early as well. Race 1 is done. We're not far off race number 2 coming up very, very soon here on the iRacing Esports Network. This is the West End Mazda Australian Online Supercar Championship. We will be back very, very soon. Race 2, not too far away.
Assist to the front bumper, and he hits him again now. Rayon Fowler into the outside wall.
He's going to pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway. and he's gonna get them all done with. What amazing
Race lead to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is gonna touch in. Pit press, sideways, what a save!
Looks to the outside and Cronkite goes off. De Jong into second place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's Howling down to the inside.
He's trying this contact though.
slide left of the racetrack. Chris Renner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact.
He's going to try and make the move around the outside the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cut back here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there. Michael Schumacher, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Well, hello everybody and welcome back to another Friday night of V8 Supercar Racing. This is the West End Mazda Australian Online Supercar Championship. We are at round 5 and this is the Snetterton 60-60. We have had one short sprint race and what a fantastic sprint race we had. Myself and Jay Kennedy called that, but we've got rid of Jay for this one and he's just clicking the buttons. We are joined this time by the legend himself, Mr. Cam Dance, another Kiwi. I feel quite at home when Cam's in here. Welcome, Cam, to the commentary box.
Yeah, cheers, Fonty. It's good to be here. Unfortunately, missed out on race 1 due to finishing off the majors Daytona 500 duel. But anyway, we're back here at Snetterton for some excellent racing and for a reverse sprint. So, going to be interesting with what's going to happen and who's going to finish.
Yeah, you're exactly right. We saw a very, very exciting finish there between Dane Warren and Brady Myers in race number 1. Dane was held up there by some lap traffic who were, well, arguably working towards Brady Myers' favour, but Dane managed to hold on. We saw some other drivers coming through. We now are in warm-up for the next race, and drivers start where they finish. So we've had some drivers make their pit stops, and they're all done for pit stops. They don't need to make another one. And then there are other drivers like Dane Warren, like Brady Myers, that need to make their stop. So this is going to be very interesting. You can't really pick who is going to win, but I reckon that someone like Marlon McMullen, who was the first to make his pit stop, will certainly be in the hunt for the race win on this one. Great race in the last one by Andrew Gwilym. He finished in P3. Also Jack Boyd finished in P4. So those guys also need to make a stop. We've got Harley Haber. He's made a stop, and he could certainly be up the pointy end when it comes to the end of this 18-lap race that we are not too far away from starting. 1:30 left for these guys to finish this session, and yeah, it's going to be another great race.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, there's a number of drivers who yet to make their pit stop. We saw a handful do it in the first race, but this is going to be the one that's going to be really, really interesting to see, especially with those who haven't taken it and are probably going to be starting further down the order. So might find them pit early, might find them possibly just drive through the field and then do it. We'll have to see as it anybody's guess as to what strategy is going to be.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Cam. It's quite dangerous for those guys who did make a pit stop in the first race, because if they're in the mid-pack and they're with some not-so-experienced guys and those guys have them behind them, they know that they're fast, can put a little bit of pressure on, and those fast guys could get tangled up in someone else's incident very, very quickly. But in this warm-up session, we do have Brett Loxton. He's at the top of the timesheet, so Brett, although it's just a warm-up, Brett wants to redeem himself on the last one. The setup didn't really suit Brett in the dying stages of the race. The car did not look set up that well, and he had burnt out those Dunlop rears. So Brett will be wanting to have a great race. Jordan Ross also has potentially the speed to do it. The biggest question is, can Dane Warren respond? Where will Dane Warren take his pit stop? And can he make his way back up to take 2 from 2?
Yeah, absolutely. It's quite a short pit lane, but at the same time, that point of which you stop and then take tyres and then get going and then get back to speed, it takes a bit of time. So it really will be interesting. I know he's got some decent pace, but like you said, it's a long pit stop, so it's going to be really, really interesting to see how it goes. But we've got the grid up on screen.
Yes, we certainly do. And on P, there we go. So it's reverse. Everyone on. Okay, everyone who was on the lead lap for the last race is reversed. So we have Greg Sharp on P1, Guy Leach on P number 2, Matthew Deere P3, Matt Leopoldeven on P number 4, Jaden Borg 5th, Mitchell Bales 6th, Sam Spade in 7th, and Mark Newton in 8th.
In 9th, we have Damien Johnston, followed by Tony Gaffer. 11th, 12th, Mitchell Campbell and Jim Benjamin Smith. Grant Keynes, Jackson Susan Harlow in 14th, and then the rest of your field as the Reeves are right.
There we go. So not enough time to call out the grid, but we're about to go racing. This is going to be very interesting. Good start there from Greg Sharp. He has managed to get off the line, but Guy Leach has absolutely pummeled him there. So Guy's going to go into the lead into turn 1, or is he? No, he's not. He's going to have a bit of a shunt, so the bad luck continues for Guy Leach, and he is dropping and dropping quickly. That is pretty hard racing. Greg did not want to give that up. Here we go. This is dangerous. This is dangerous. We have got... There, that was Jordan Ross. He's just done a full 360. He's going to keep going, and we've got more incidents. Here we go. This is bad, because this is what happens in these situations. You've got these fast guys trying to get through as quickly as possible, and Brett Loxton has gone from the front to the back very, very quickly. The man who made it through in that little bit of an incident was Dane Warren. You saw the LTC Sports car really slow up, and we've got a replay here. The full 360 from Jordan Ross manages to keep it going, and then there's a little bit of a battle there. That looks like Stephen Varga, and Brett Loxton, as you just see, gets really tangled up, and off the track he goes. So There we go, staying with the replay because something has happened here. And, oh! There we go, a big moment there for Matthew Dare, and the engine has expired. Big Chernobyl. So this is dangerous because we've got so many fast guys coming through. You really just need to be patient and hope that it all works out. Greg Sharp, who is a very, very good driver, he has got a bit of a gap now back to that second position of Jaden Borg. There is 2.1 seconds separating him, and then we've got Mitchell Bales there in third, Mark Newton in fourth, and Harley Haber. Well, he looks very racy sitting there in P number 8.
It's all going off at the front at the moment between Harley Haber and that GRM car. It's really, really close. Interesting to see that a number of guys have actually managed to gain through the field quite quickly. I mean, Dane was very, very lucky to actually make it through there and actually not get taken out either.
There we go. So we've got Michael Cracknell in this mix here. We've got Benjamin Smith. This is all on for young and old. Dangerous, dangerous racing. This, you really need to be on your toes. There we go. So our first of our pit stops has happened. David Samford rolls his way down there, and we've got a few cars behind him as well. So leading this race at this stage is Greg Sharp. Jaden Borg following closely behind, slowly pulling in the gap a little bit. Jaden Borg in second, Mitchell Bales, he is putting a lot of pressure on Jaden. Mark Newton in fourth, Sam Spade in fifth, Jackson Susan Harlow, expect him to get there very, very quickly. Now we have a replay going up now. We've got a passing maneuver by the looks of it. Oh, there we go. No, so bit of a technical glitch there for James Scott. And what's happened to him? So, okay, so he has just had a bit of a technical drama and potentially couldn't see where the other cars were on track. He's come back at the wrong time. So we go back live now. Big thanks to LeBlanc for sponsoring the replay. And we have a battle on our hands here. We have got the 094 car under huge pressure. Jaden Borg, Mitchell Bales going at it into turn one. Mitchell Bales going to have the inside line and he's going to get the job done. But is Jaden going to be able to in and out of him? No, he's not. So position change here
very
for
late on the
P2.
brakes.
Oh, so he's going to run wide, and this is going to leave him open to that's Susan Harlow. Harley Haber around. That is okay. So maybe we will see a replay of that. Again. So hey, look who just went past though. That Altus Esports car is flying. So what happened here? What happened here for Harley? He's made a move, potentially, on the inside. Oh, okay, so, yeah, okay, that's, yeah, a little bit of an unfortunate racing incident there. He will be frustrated at that, though. We're back live now, and we are on board with Cooper Webster, and Cooper Webster is putting all sorts of pressure on Sam Spade. Sam is reasonably new to the iRacing scene, I believe, and he's holding up one of the, well, a little bit more experienced guys, but he's holding the inside line, and around the outside he goes. What a fantastic move. And so he is going to move himself into P number 7. Another battle here though, the 094 car of Jaden Borg. Jackson Susan Harlow has made his way through, and he is up to P3, so expect Jackson to potentially win this race, but Dane Warren, he's also on a charge.
Yeah, absolutely. Dane trying to recover from that start, having started further back, and also almost having the race end in tears on lap 1. He's gained 20 positions so far, so he's doing quite well, but looking at that train not too far ahead of him, he's got to be careful that he doesn't get involved too bad. Yes,
you're exactly right, Cam. It's yeah, dangerous field when you've got the drivers all separated up and other drivers in front of you, especially in a short race like this. You don't have time to muck around, so you really got to make the moves and make them quickly. We are now focused on Marlon McMullen as we are seeing the Altus car come into the pit lane.
So I think he's done that based on the fact that that group ahead of him was actually fighting quite hard. So
Yes.
not too bad of a strategy play, actually.
Yes, not a bad call there at all by Dane. He is one of the best in the field out there, and we are seeing this battle here now. We've got Mullen, Mick Cracknell. These guys going at it. That Brett Loxton. These guys are having a fantastic race here. But out in front at the moment, we still have Greg Sharp, Mitchell Bales. The gap between those guys is 3.4 seconds, so Jackson is looking super fast at the moment. Car still all in one complete shape. Then we look back again at Jaden Borg under all sorts of pressure from Mitchell Campbell, and then we got the 37 Evolution Racing Team car of Cooper Webster. Cooper, we saw him in that last race do a fantastic job, and he is coming through. Here we go. Oh, give him a little bit of a tap, let him know he's there.
Oh, and he's bombed it straight in there.
Straight in there he goes. So here we go. Big thanks to LeBlanc for their sponsorship of the Australian Online Supercar Championship, and we're just seeing the passing maneuver. Oh, whoa! I tell you what, that was pretty ambitious there. But you know, when you're making a claim, you want to stamp your name on this championship. Those are the sorts of moves that you got to make. And you're back live now. Jackson still hasn't managed to get past the 17 car, Mitchell Bales. He is doing a great job at holding him up. We are now lapped 7 through 18, so nearly at the halfway point, and Jackson's going to get the run on the front straight, and he's going to have the inside line going into turn 1, and he's probably going to get this move done, but not too easily, but he's going to get it done there. So expect Jackson to really be pushing on now to try and catch Greg Sharp, who is 3.1 seconds up the road.
Yeah, Jackson's looking a little bit quicker at the moment, looking at that last lap as well, so be interesting to see how...
Oh, whoa!
Big check up through the back as well.
Yep, certainly is. This is, these guys are very racy, and we could see this all end in tears. We are on board now with Marlon. He is showing his nose up the inside of Damien Johnson, and he's probably going to get the move done. And is this going to leave the gap open there to Brett Loxton? Whoa!
Right up on two wheels.
Mick Mullen, he loves flying through the air, and we've just seen a great show. But this 000 car is not making it easy for Mick Cracknell, I should say. Sorry, not Brett Loxton. Mick Cracknell. And then Kyle Stokes following closely behind him. Another big launch for Cracknell. So this is going to leave the door open there for Guy Leach. Guy Leach is going to come through. He's got the inside line coming into turn 1. And is he going to get it done? Yes, he most likely will. Cracknell. Oh, he's going to get it done on both of them potentially here, because the gap is open. He's going to try it. Oh, big moment there. This round has been one to forget for Guy Leach, because we saw him get tangled up in all sorts of drama, and he has happened again for a second time in this race. Now we see Harley Haber in the mix. Very clear to tell which one is... Oh! Wow, here we go, and this could be dangerous in itself, because the car's just come directly across the track, and these both will have slowdowns. The Evolution Racing Team car has lost out hugely, and Harley has really benefited from this.
Yeah, it just looked like, actually looking back at that, it was actually Stokes possibly clipped the inside curb, and it just unsettled the car a little bit too much, and then forced him wide and into the side of that other car. So really unfortunate there for, I believe it was Cracknell. So
yes,
he's going to have to soldier on and try and recover.
Yeah, he certainly is in this battle here between Benjamin Smith and Mick Mullen now. Marlon, there we go, and he's thrown it up the inside. Big lock up there. but he has got the job done, and that moves Marlin up into P number 9. So there we go. Something has happened to Benjamin Smith, though. Not too sure. We will fill you in on that, but looking now at our P number 2, and he is trying to chase down P number 1, but our man in P number 1, Greg Sharp, is doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, absolutely. He's doing a great job. He's actually holding off Harlow really well at the moment. A little bit slower, about 6/10 that last lap. So Jackson slowly but surely catching, but Jackson will have to remember that he doesn't want to use up those Dunlops too much, or he'll end up in a bit of trouble later on in this race.
Yes, so we are now on lap number 11 of 18, so over halfway through this race, and it has been a fantastic race that we have seen so far. Currently, this battle between Mick Cracknell and Harley Haber is going off. We saw Harley get tangled up there a few laps before, and he's trying to redeem himself now. These guys will definitely go at it for a while, though, because they are... There we go, though. We have just been informed, though, Cooper Webster, fastest car on track. He does have a little bit of a gap, though, to get right up there for the race lead. Don't know if he's got it in him for that, but certainly a podium gap to the lead. Oh, there we go. That looked like a Cedar car potentially. Okay, so we're going to get a LeBlanc instant replay. We're going to see what has gone on here. Redback Racing Team entry, the Cedar entry. So, oh, he's done that all by himself. So, big learning curve there for Grant. He just nabbed that curb a little bit too hard and had a little bit too much angle on the wheel. But this battle, though, we have just seen Cooper get past Mark Newton. I do like that livery on that Mark Newton car. And his gap, but look at the gap at the front. It's closed right up. Greg Sharp is struggling now. 1.3 seconds separating those two guys. It was 2.2 just before when we were looking at them, and I've only done one lap. So Greg under all sorts of pressure, and Jackson wants this race win.
Yeah, it'll only be a matter of laps before Jackson is right there on the back of Greg Sharp, and while it's one thing to catch the driver ahead, it is another thing to pass, and this corner doesn't really offer too many places to pass, so Jackson does end up burning up those rear tyres. He may struggle to try and get on.
Yes, I think you're right, Cam, but yeah, Jackson is a very good driver, and as we were talking about in qualifying, he will win championships very soon between himself and Harley Haber. Those guys are going to be the future of this championship potentially. But this man out in front now, Greg Sharp, doing a fantastic job. We often will cover Greg Sharp because he's always manages to find himself in pretty heated battles, and he is in a heated battle now with Jackson Susan Harlow. Jackson needs to be patient though. He clearly has the speed. This back shot, looking back at that TTL Esports car as they come through that fast left-hander, then into the right-hander. Greg's looking like he's struggling to get the power down, so he'll be looking in his mirrors and being filled by a TTL Falcon. Simworks recently coming on board with TTL, and they used to sponsor ANZ Motorsport, which was my team when I used to race. So that logo looked very, yeah, back in the olden days, our director has informed us. But yes, you're exactly right. Here we go. We are coming down into turn number 1, and Jackson pops the nose out. He's gonna look. Oh, there we go. So side-by-side action. Can Greg in and out him? No, he can't.
Yeah, I think the pace differential is just a little bit too much for Greg at this point, so Jackson's managed to get that pass well and truly manual. Probably more than likely walk away with this, so now Cooper Webster's coming right onto the back of Mitchell Bales. He's going to get the move done as he pops out from the draft. Let's head down the back straight. It's probably fair estimate he's going to have the position as they head into the braking zone, which
very
he
good under
has
brake.
managed to get.
Yes, very good under brakes is Cooper, and he's going to move into P number 3. So does he have it in him? He has 4 laps left now. 2.2 seconds between himself and Jackson Susan Harlow. Does he have the pace to win this race? I'm just looking at the lap times now between those two guys. Cooper Webster, fastest lap in this race is a 1:08.7. Fastest lap for Jackson is a 1:08.9. Last lap by though, Cooper was 0.7 of a second faster than what Jackson was. So if that gap stays like that, then potentially we could have a bit of a battle on our hands. Looking now though at the rear end of Dane Warren's car, I absolutely love these AOSC sports cars. They look so fantastic, and their livery designer did a great job, but it looks like Dane is struggling a little bit for grip. A very damaged AOSC sports car that is. He did start a little bit further down the grid.
Yeah, he's carrying a few wounds, as we'll call them, at the moment from the little bit of carnage that happened early on the race, but it doesn't seem to have affected him too much. Obviously, he made his pit stop early in the race when he started to catch that mid-pack group, but at the moment he's currently 12 positions up from the starting position, so he's not doing too bad for himself with that little bit of damage and wall wounds that he's got on that car.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Currently looking at Harley Haber in the pink LeBlanc sponsored car. Harley made a little bit of a mistake a few weeks back, and I believe had a little bit of contact with his teammate, so team manager Mark Samuel said, right, we're going to whack you in the pink car so you learn your lesson. And he was tangled up in an incident early in this race. It wasn't really his fault, and he's been doing a fantastic job as of late to race clean and race fair and race hard, which he's been showing great results from that. We now focus on Jaden Bull, Damon Johnston, Gone Rogue Motorsport, reasonably new out there. Oh, and he's going to go rogue as he's going to potentially throw it up the inside, but no, that door's going to be shut. And now he is under pressure from Mick Cracknell. Michael Cracknell is coming, and he wants to get this P number 10. He's going to pop his nose out, and he's going to have the inside line going into the next turn, which is a very fast left-hander, but that double zero car's not making it easy. Oh, he backed out there. That was probably quite sensible. Gone Rogue Motorsport, though, they have really stamped their name into this AusNZ iRacing community in recent times. Jack Boyd doing a fantastic job. He is out there on track as well. This battle, Marlon McMullen, though, currently sitting in P number 7. He wants to get this move made on Sam Spade. Sam is doing a good job. I'll tell you what, to hold him up. I haven't seen Sam out there before. He's doing a good job at holding up Marlon. I know that move has just been done, but if he can hang on the back of him, got to be happy with that. We are now on lap number 17 out of 18. So, in the dying stages of this race, can Cooper Webster catch our race leader, or can he even get past Greg Sharp?
Yeah, it's gonna be close to get Jackson, I reckon, but he shouldn't have too many issues getting past Greg Sharp. He was actually quite a few tenths quicker that last lap, about half a second, so it's really close, and then half a second as well quicker than Jackson, so it's going to be a liable call to see whether he's going to make it to Jackson, but it's probably a fair call that he will make it past Greg Sharp at this point.
Here we go. We are about to start the last lap of the race. This is round number 5, and we are on lap number 18, the final lap. I think you're right, Cam. Here we go. He's going to... Oh, what a turn 1 entry there from Cooper Webster, and he's going to have the inside line into the next turn. He's probably going to get the job done here on Greg Sharp. Job done, potentially, yes, and there we go. So that was a fantastic move there by Webster. 1.5 seconds. Can he pull him in? I don't think he has it in him, but if anybody does, Cooper Webster does. Jackson will not make it easy though if he manages to reel him in. It is a very short lap, so chances are not going to happen. What a drive though from Jackson we have seen this race. This young man recently signed up to TTO Esports and really wants to stamp his name on this V8 supercar in iRacing. We have seen a fantastic race from him. He was very, very aggressive, but done a fantastic job, and he is about to come over the line and win this race. Well done to Jackson Susan Harlow. You deserve this race win, buddy. That is absolutely fantastic. In second place, we will have Cooper Webster. He also drove a great race. And this man on screen now, Greg Sharp, he drove a considerably amazing race. I didn't think that those guys had it in them to catch him, but they managed to, but he still managed to finish on the podium.
Yeah, absolutely great driving by those guys on the podium. Really, really hard work for Greg Sharp, but managed to keep it on the podium in the end. There's a race for the line against Gilliam and Cox. Gilliams will just get the position. Oh no, Cox, sorry, will just get the position.
There we go, and Jamie McKnight crosses the line in 26th, so 5th in the first race, 26th in the second, and WPC Concreting, Danny Vassell coming home there in 35th. That was really a interesting race, to say the least. Tell you what, this man on screen though deserved this race. I believe this is the first race win we have seen from Jackson. Can our director confirm this?
Charlotte, I think he won.
No, he cannot confirm, but I think it is. I think it is. We're going to go with it. Somebody can please tell me straight if it's not.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he won at Charlotte, but I can't remember either. So that makes 3 of us.
There we go. So none of us know, but that's okay. Jackson, you drove a great race, buddy. That was fantastic drive. We now have the results on screen. We have got our race winner, Jackson Susan Harlow from TTL Esports, in second position, and he was a man on a hunt, and that was Cooper Webster. He finished 1.2 seconds behind Jackson. Greg Sharp, fantastic drive from you, buddy, in third. Mitchell Bales in fourth. Mark Newton from Proforce Racing will finish in fifth. Mullen, great drive from him. He kept it out of trouble. He's managed to get himself back up to P6. Sam Spade, reasonably new to the iRacing service, but really wanted to stamp his name on it and did a great job to hold up some of the Fiat Supercar and iRacing veterans. And Mitchell Campbell will finish in 8th.
In 9th, we have Michael Cracknell, followed by Jaden Borg in 10th. 11th and 12th, Damien Johnston and Kyle Stokes, followed by Harley Haber and Gary Cooper in 13th and 14th. 15th, Luke Page. 16th, Guy Leach. 17th and 18th, Scott Gamble and Matthew Clough, followed by Jacob Knight and Dane Warren rounding out the top.
There we go, and then we go back to number 21. That'll be Gavin Cox, Andrew Gwillam in 22nd, Matt Leopardavin in 23rd, and Brady Myers in 24th. And then we go to 25th as our director catches up. Jack Boyd, a little bit further back than he would have liked. He's in 25th. Jamie McKnight, 26th. Jordan Ross, not a great race for Jordan. But he finishes in 27th. David Stamford, 28th. Stephen Varga, 29th. We saw a very entertaining battle with him in race number 1. Kane Hewson in 30th. 31st, Jamie Stovall. 32nd is Michael Taliancic.
In 33rd, we have James McKee, followed by Brick Loxton in 34th. 35th, Danny Vassell and Tony Gaffer in 36th. 37th to James Scott and Scott Clark in 38th. And then rounding out the field will be Matthew Deere, Angus Perry, Troy DeBono, Benjamin Smith, Grant Kane, Zach Best, Warren Pickering, James Duckworth, and Matt.
There you go. Wow, what a race we had there. That was what a great event. I absolutely love these split sprint rounds. Really throws a curveball for the result for the second race for one, but just great racing in general. I think we have great things for this championship. This is round number 5, and we've got many rounds to go, so please do continue to watch on a Friday night. We certainly love coming here and watching and commentating and directing on this fantastic series. We do have plenty more coming up, and please do not forget to subscribe to the iRacing Esports Network. Us, along with many other broadcasters, RaceSpot TV, Global Sim Racing Channel, and Apex TV are also on there. So please do click subscribe and keep up with all the action. Our next broadcast, though, is tomorrow. We have the Majors Series, the Daytona 500, and what a fantastic event that is going to be. Do tune in for the Major Series because it is the biggest hosted league in the world. There is also the iRacing Bathurst 12 hour. You can tell I need to have a drink of water. The iRacing Bathurst 12 hour is on tomorrow as well on the Esports Network, and we are back again on Monday for the iRacing official V8 Supercar Series. That always turns it up. Do we have anybody in for interviews? I don't think we do. So we may wrap it up there. Cam, what do you think of the race? Jay, do you want to tune back in? Give us your thoughts as well. I thought it was an absolutely fantastic event. I think we should be doing more of these because it really throws a curveball up and it brings out new winners. We saw Jackson win tonight. We saw Dane win tonight. And, yeah, great racing throughout this event.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really, really unique format, and it just, creates some really, really interesting racing, and you get to actually see who's actually really good with their racecraft and who's able to time the strategy right. So, yeah, having more of it would be really, really good and really awesome to see with such close racing like it is.
Yeah, for me, I like the fact that we see who can control the tyre wear a lot better as well, because tyres are such a huge factor in a lot of these races, and having drivers with that pit stop to take the fresh tyres, then work their way back through the field is always really, really entertaining. And we saw quite a few had to come in to make those stops in the second race. They started to work their way through, but they just didn't quite have the pace at the end to make up as many positions as they'd like, despite the pace advantage they had. But as you said, I love the format too. It's really, really cool.
Yep, it is a great format and a great championship at that. This is our second season at doing the Australian Online Supercar Championship, and I certainly love doing this on a Friday night. We will be back next week for this championship, I believe, and it's not too long until we kick off for V8 Scops Round 1. So, yes, please do subscribe to the iRacing Esports Network. Subscribe to us on Facebook, YouTube, all of those social media avenues. Cam, it was an absolute pleasure to call this race with you tonight. Well done to Jackson Susan Harlow on winning race number 2. Well done to Dane Warren and his newly stickered Altus Esports Commodore. We will catch you guys tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. This is SimSpeed TV on the iRacing Esports Network.